Hello, today I'm going to be doing the correction for the task that was given to you as an assessment. Please take a look at the corrections, take note of the places you had issues with, and then apply that to the take note of the corrections, especially the areas where you did not correct, and then use the files that were shared with you in the classroom to practice that aspect again. So I have the question paper open with a series of tags. Permit me, I'm just going to cascade my screen, my window, so that I can see both files properly. So it says you're not going to edit a document about Power Kite Sports. Using a suitable software package, load the file n10eks.rtf. So in this case we have it as a Word document. So if it was given to you as an RTF document and you'll be asked to convert it to a Word document, you simply go to File, Save As, and then make sure you're saving it inside the location, your work area folder location, and then you change the type to Word document and specify the name that was given to you. So we haven't got to that aspect yet. I just wanted you to take a look at that. So I'm going to cascade my screen here again. Permit me to reduce this. Okay, so I believe we can also minimize this so we can see our content properly. Okay, good. Now it says set the page size to A4, so I'm going to go to my layout menu and then click on setup here. Then I'll go to paper and set the paper size to A4. It says set the page orientation to landscape, so under the margins tab I'll choose landscape, and then set the top, bottom, left and right to 1 centimeter. So mine is already showing the unit centimeters. If yours is not showing in centimeters, what you need to do is click on OK, go to File, go down to where you have, to the bottom where you have options, or in this case I have to click on more and then options. Then I will go to the advanced section and scroll down to where we have display. So I have display here, and then I'll change this unit from most likely it will be in inches. You can change that to centimeters and then click on OK. So this will take effect on every area where the unit should be in centimeters. So back to what I'm supposed to do. The top, bottom, left and right should all be set to 4 centimeters. So I'm going to change this to 4 centimeters. Okay, so just to check to make sure everything is as should be. So landscape, A4, 4 centimeters all through, and apply to the whole document. So I'll click OK. Now it says save the document with a new file name to your work area folder. So I'm just going to come here and say save as. So they didn't give us a proper file name, so I'm just going to call this Power Kite Sports. Okay. Again, check to make sure you're in your work area folder. So I'm there. I'll click on save, and then that is done. Now it said set all the text to a serif font. Now remember, we did say serif fonts are fonts that have emphasis at the edges, so in other words pointy edges. And a very good example to use is Times New Roman. Please avoid using any stylish font. When they ask you to set your font to a serif font, please always use Times New Roman, except the question was specific, give you a specific name. If they don't give you a specific name, please stick to Times New Roman. If they ask for sans serif font, then you can either use Arial or Calibri. Please, besides these three fonts, do not deviate from them. Again, when they ask you to use serif font, use Times New Roman. If they ask you to use sans serif, you can either use Arial or Calibri. So except they give you a specific name, probably they ask you to use Verdana, for instance, then you can go ahead and use that. But outside that, always use this font I just stated to you now. Okay, set all the text into a single line spacing. So to do that, I'm going to come to the paragraph section and then click on this arrow at the bottom right here. And then the line spacing should be single. It says set the alignment of all the text to be fully justified. So I can either do it from here and just say justified, or I can come to this section from my home menu and then choose justified here. Either way, that works. Okay, now in your exam or during your assessment, if they ask you to take a screenshot showing that you have set, let's say, the paper size, the landscape orientation, and things like that, what you need to do is go to your page layout menu, click on the arrow here, and then you take your screenshot just like this. Sorry, one moment. So this screenshot here will show that you have set the margins and then the orientation. And to show the screenshot for the paper size, you take the screenshot like this. Okay, so you can also take it up until this point, or if you want, you can take up until this point. Please take note of this. This is how you take your screenshot, and then you can go and paste them in your evidence document. Okay, so moving on. Now it says set the font size of all the text to be 10 points. So from my home menu, I'm going to change this to 10 points, and then that is done. Now it says place in the header your candidate number and center number left align. So I'm going to double click on this, and once you start hearing them ask you to put anything on the left, on the right, or at the center alignment, please always use the blank 3-column template. So I'll go to the header and then choose my blank 3-column template. The reason why we advise you to always use this method is because from the blank 3-column template, it already has the alignment set for you using the placeholder type here. So you have the left alignment, you have the center alignment, and then you have the right alignment. So candidate number and your center number should be what? Left aligned. So I said you can use any 4 digits of your choice for the candidate number, and then you can use this, okay, for your center number. All right, now it says place an automated file name and file path right aligned. So I'll click on the right align placeholder, and then I'll go to document info, and this time around I'm only going to put file path. Now the reason why I'm putting only file path is because in the file path we have the path specifying the location where the file is, and then we also have the file name showing there. Now they did not ask us to put anything in the center, so I'm going to remove the placeholder there. Now if you notice, the moment I remove the placeholder, this automatically aligned for me properly. So that aspect is done. The next thing I need to do is to go to the footer. So I'm going to click on go to footer here while still in my header and footer, and it says Place in the footer an automated page number centered aligned. So first of all, in the footer, I'm going to put the blank 3-column template because now they're giving me a specific location. So the automated page number should be centered aligned. Please take note, when you want to put the page number, you need to go to page number and then go down to current position and specify the style you want to use. So I usually like to use plain number. If you do this, page number, and then you go to bottom just because it said in the footer, and then you choose this, it will erase everything that was put there previously. So you don't want to do that. The reason why we choose current position, because they've given us an alignment. In this case, they said centered align. So current position means put that automated page number in that position that I have selected, so which is here. And then it says today's date, right align. So there are two ways you can do it. So you can quickly go to date and time and then choose any format. Since they didn't specify any format, so I'm just going to use this one. If you want, you can click update automatically. What this simply means is that it will automatically update the date for you. So if today's date, for instance, is the 13th of October, if I open this document 2 days from now, it will be showing me 15th of October. So that's the function of the update automatically. So I'm going to put the date here. Again, in the left alignment, they need access to put anything, so I'm going to remove the placeholder. Once that is done, I'll close my header and footer. Now the next instruction says make sure that all alignments match the page orientation, and okay, so match all the page orientation and the page margin. And the next one says make sure that header and footers are displayed on each page. Now if you follow my instruction exactly the way I gave to you, these instructions would have, or these criteria would have been met. So for instance, they align to the page orientation and the page margin, and the header and footer will display on all pages. Next question, make sure there is a blank line 10 points high after each paragraph, and that the line spacing is consistent. So again, I'm going to select all the text and I'm going to go to paragraph section on the bottom right here. I'm going to click here, and when it says make sure there is a 10 point high spacing after, so spacing after, and then I'm going to make this 10 points each paragraph, and it's consistent. So once I click on this, that sorts out that for me. Now it says insert a blank line after the start of the document and enter the heading EKS Club News. So at the start of the document, this is the start of the document. To enter a blank line, I'm just going to put my cursor at the beginning of that first paragraph, press enter, and then use the direction arrows on my keyboard to go back up. So I have created a new line. So I'm going to enter EKS. Please always write it exactly the way it's given to you. Where there's a small letter, use a small letter. Where there's a capital letter, use a capital letter. Now it says set this font to 36 points. So I'm going to change this to 36 points. So I'm going to highlight. If you notice, there's an extra spacing after the S in the news. So what I'm going to do is hold down Shift on my keyboard and press the left arrow key just to remove that spacing. Then I'm going to put 36 points here, and there you go. Now it says set the font size of the heading to be 36 points. We've done that. Add the text report by and a column and your name. Place this as a subheading below the heading. So I'm just going to press enter to go to a new line, and I'll say report by, and then put my name. Okay, please put your full name for me. Now, so it says we should make this a subheading. Now it says set both the heading and the subheading to be sans serif font. So in this case, I'm going to use Arial. You can also use Calibri, that's fine too. Now make the subheading italic. So only the subheading should be italic. Set the font size of the subheading to be 18 points. So I'm going to change this to 18 points, and then underline the heading. So the heading should be underlined. Make both the heading and the subheading right aligned. So I'm going to select both heading and subheading, and I'm going to make them right aligned, just like this. Let's see what the next question says. Now, after the subheading, format the rest of the document into 2 equally spaced columns with 1 centimeter gap between. So I need to highlight, says after the subheading, so from here down to the end of the document, and I'll go to my page layout menu and go to columns and click on more columns. So they said we should 2 equally spaced, so we need to make sure equal column width is checked with 1 centimeter spacing. So I'm going to change the spacing to 1 centimeter. So I have this done now. Is that all? Yes, that is all. So I'm going to click OK, and that has been done. Now it says delete the paragraph that begins the Power Kite School courses. So sometimes it might be difficult for you to visually find it, although I have found it. But if you want to quickly search for something, you can see, you can go and look for the find icon, and then you can type in the what was given to you. So the Power Kite School courses. Okay, so something like that. And then it said delete this paragraph. So I'm going to select the paragraph, and then I'm going to delete it. So that is done. Now it says change the list of basic safety rules to be a numbered list. Make sure the numbered list do not have any blank line spaces between the items. It includes the text from do not attempt to learn to never ever estimate your own ability. So let's look for those bullet points. Okay, so this is it from here, and then scroll down to this point here. Okay, always remember to remove the extra spacing. So I'm going to go to paragraph here. Now it says we should set it to a numbered bullet list. So this is numbered bullet list, and I'm just going to click this option here. Now it says, okay, so that is done. Now it says insert a table with 5 columns and 5 rows after the text. Here are some courses we have on offer. So again, you can quickly use the search bar to look for this. So here are some courses we have on offer. So let's look for that where it's highlighted. Okay, so you should have. One moment, please. pages, headings, results, search. Okay, so I'm just going to look for that manually because something's wrong somewhere. Maybe because this is too. Alright, so that will be towards the end of the paragraph somewhere. Moment. Okay, so I found it. So this is it. Here are some courses we have on offer. And then it says add the table below. So I'm going to go into a new line there and then go to my insert. And they said the table should be 5 columns. So this is 5 columns and 5 rows. So I'm going to insert that now. Now it says enter the following data into the table. So here I'm going to add learn to use your kite safely. And then here we have course, level, duration, cost, and then group. So here we have the power kite taster. We have the basic driving techniques, and then we have advanced flying or driving skills. So for level we have beginner, intermediate, let's just show we're writing the same thing. Okay, so we have beginner, and then we have intermediate, and then we have advanced. So for duration it's 1 hour. This is 1 day, and then this is 3 hours. Okay, so here the cost you have 15. Here you have 75, and then you have 80. And then for the group we have a max of 4. We have max of 4 as well, and then you have 1, 2, 1. Okay, so the next part, it says make sure the table fits within the column width. So if you can check, you can see my table fits within the column width. Using text wrap where needed, make sure text is aligned to the top of the cell. So for instance, I need to adjust this ones. Okay, adjust the cost as well, adjust the duration, adjust the level, Okay, and then so it says align to the top of the cell. Okay, so I'm going to click here and choose my from table design, table layout, and then I'm going to choose the alignment, should be top of the cell. Now it says format only the text in the top 2 rows. So cells in the top 2 rows. So this is the first top 2 rows. To be centered, aligned, and underlined. So from my home menu, I can set the paragraph to be what? Centered, aligned, and underlined. Apply a light gray shading of 20 to 40% on the top 2 rows. So light gray shading. So I have my shading here, light gray of 20, okay, so to 40%. So I can use 25% or 35%. So I want to use 25%. Okay, now it says merge the cell at the top row of the table so that it is centered across the 5 columns. So that means I need to select all the 5 rows here and then go to my table layout menu, and then where it says merge, I'm going to click on merge cells. Set all grid lines to be visible lines of 2 to 2.5% wide. So I'm going to select the entire table, still under. Now go to my table design and then borders. I'm going to set it to the set between 2 to 2.5%, right? So another way I can do that is I can do it from the home menu, and under here I can say borders, go to borders and shading, and then I can set the width to be 2 1/4 is still between 2 and 2.5, so I can use that, or I can manually just set this, and then I'll click apply, and that is done. Now it says place the image n10soft.jpg in the beginning of the paragraph that starts with our Extreme Sports Center gives. So we're going to look for that. There we go. So at the beginning, so I'll put my cursor at the start of the paragraph, go to my insert menu, go to pictures, and then choose this device. Now I'm going to browse for that file in my work area folder, which should be in my desktop, and the work area folder should be called, yes, this folder, and then this is the file, and I'll click on insert. Now it says align the image to the top line of the paragraph at the left margin. So it's already there, I don't need to do anything. Make sure that the text wraps around at the right and below of the image. So I'm going to go to where it says text wrap, and then I'm going to choose square, so at the right and then below the image. Now it says resize the image to 3 centimeters high and maintain the aspect ratio. So the height, I'm going to reduce the height to 3 centimeters. There we go. So 3 centimeters. So it looks like this. So they just gave you an image of what it looks like. Now it says save the document. So I'm going to click on file and then click on save, or you can just press Ctrl S on your keyboard. Now once you've done this, please always look to be sure that you have no orphans and widows or split items within your work. So for instance, I can see here that my bullet points are not aligned or are not together, and my table is split over the columns. So what I can simply do is I can bring down this paragraph to the next column like this, and then I can also move this paragraph to the next column, or I can just move the table alone to the next column, just like here. There we go. So I have avoided any orphans and widows. If you don't know what orphans and widows are, please research that up. We've done that, and you can refer to your notes on it. Now this is how your work should look like. Then you can save. If they ask you to print, you indicate and then state that you want to print your work. I hope this is helpful. Please use the source files that are in the classroom to practice using the video. Thank you. Bye.